Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with another review list of 2024. And I hope this list doesn't get me as much heat as last year, but we're talking about my top 10 worst or least favorite EPs of 2024. Like I said, last year I got a lot of heat for this. Hopefully, none of these bands or musicians will get too heated at me. So, yeah, sorry in advance. 10 spot, I feel a little bit bad because I feel like this band got the short end of the straw when it came down to me making my list. Because I listened to a lot of good music this year, and there's really wasn't that much bad music, I thought. And so this band just kind of, based on numbers and the scores I gave out throughout the year, they just barely made it into this. And I think a lot of the material on their EP is good. It's good stuff. I like it a lot. But I just feel like either there was extra stuff like an intro song that didn't really need its own song. If it had just been put into the intro, the first song that actually started, I think the album would have flowed better. And also, a lot of the songs, they build up to these big moments towards the end of the EP, or not the EP, but the songs a lot of the time. And they kind of like don't do anything with them. Like they could have had another breakdown, do some more heavy chugs, but it feels like wasted potential with these songs. Even though I do like these songs quite a bit, I just felt like there were some creative choices here that didn't really mesh well. And so, based on the point system I gave out, the score system, this band lands in this spot, and I really hope I don't get any heat for that. So sorry, guys. Number 9 here we have Poser and Grasping at Straws with their split EP. Our heart is a garden, our head is a grave. And just like the long title of this split EP, there's a lot going on here, but I feel like nothing's really being said because it's just very generic deathcore music. It has a good clean production to it, but it's nothing new, nothing too wowing. It's all right for what it's doing. So it's not the worst stuff, but it just feels like it's already been done before in terms of playing heavy deathcore music on both sides of the split. And both bands kind of sound kind of similar. There's some small differences here, but not enough to be, major differences, I think. Here, the band Split Intentions with their debut EP. And after talking to the band a little bit, it makes a little bit more sense why I think, it's not the worst stuff. They got really great content, great lyrics and everything, but it does feel like a fresh new band in terms of it being a little bit clunky and disjointed with their transitions in their songs. And after talking to some of the members and hearing that, they quickly made this EP or this demo to get some material out there. So I think even to the band standards, it's not, the best they could have done, but it just felt like a rushly made demo, and you can kind of tell. So great content, just a little rushed and a little disjointed. Number 7, we have Fall Semester with their self-titled EP. And I gotta say, it's a pretty interesting scram emo band, but they have really bad production on this EP because half the time you can't hear most of the vocals, or the just the way that everything's mixed and layered. It just sounds a little underwhelming. Not underwhelming, but just too clunky and too disorienting. And maybe it was an artistic choice, but overall, it just wasn't a very fun listening experience because of the production. Number 6, we have here Becoming the Lion with their self-titled EP. And it's a slow rock band, I guess, but a lot of the music here it's literally middle of the road. It's not bad, it's not good, it just feels like it's music to exist. It doesn't really invoke too many emotions at it in you, whether it be angry or happy emotions. It's just kind of music to be there. And just like how it's in the middle of this bad tier list, or not tier list but list, it just doesn't really do much for me, or I don't know, anyone else. Because even look at the EP art, it's so dark you can't even really see what's going on. While listening to this, you don't really pay attention to what's going on as well, because it just seems so bland and just whatever. Number 5, we have the band Number 9 with their EP New Phenomenon. And I gotta say, for a band that I really, really do enjoy, I love Washington. I love seeing them live. They have always a good energy. It was really weird to hear them go more with a laid back, groovy style, which was kind of okay. But then also throw in the fact that the production and the mixing, the vocals sound really buried, and the instruments just are just as muffled. It overall just sounds poorly made, and I don't even think it was an artistic choice. It just was mixed badly, and the songs are too laid back and too chill, so it just overall sounds like a pretty bad listening experience. Number 4, we have here Final Words with their EP Injustice, and I gotta say, it's just a pretty standard slam metal kind of ish band, but it just feels like a lot of the music here is a bit on the poorly written side, and just, you know, just by the numbers, it doesn't feel like it's anything new or impressive. And yeah, I understand not trying to break the wheel or anything, or not break the wheel, but reinvent it, or, you know, come out with some new innovative things. But even to like just basic slam standards, this just seems a bit on the mid side. Nothing really that great about it, but yeah. Number 3, we have here Qwer with their EP Algorithms Blossom. And the thing that confused me about this Korean band and everything was they call themselves a visual band. They're supposed to play instruments, but half of the songs here just feel like generic K-pop songs. And, you know, that's fine and dandy if you want to do that, but it doesn't really feel like a band in a sense. And those K-pop-ish sounding songs, they even sound just like any other K-pop group out there, and so they seem very bland and uninspiring. While the more rock-oriented, like where you actually feel real bass, drums, and guitars, those songs are a lot better on this EP. But they only have like 1 or 2 songs like that, while the rest just feels like generic K-pop. So I was a little bit disappointed that the fact this is supposed to be a band, but it doesn't feel like a band. And if you want to listen to a good Korean band, I highly suggest you check out a band called Sailor Honeymoon. They are an actual Korean all-girl band, and they sound great compared to whatever this is supposed to be. Number 2, we have here Frayed Ends BC with their EP Strive. They have some really good content in terms of their lyrical stuff here, talking about mental illness and just going through struggles. But I gotta say, this is a very poorly written EP. It sounds, on the production side, it sounds really rough. Not even the fun DIY style way. It just sounds poorly made. And this is like the band's second release. So, you know, you think they'd get better with it, but it just sounds like they've kind of gotten a little bit worse with their making of their music. And it's a real rough album to get through. Particularly, I would say the vocals are the one thing that really hold this band back a bit, because they just don't really mesh that well, / they just don't sound like they are ready to be vocals or a vocalist, because he just doesn't sound that great while recording. So yeah. Number 1 worst EP of the year 2024 is Mötley Crüe's Canceled EP. Everything about this album, minus maybe some of the guitar work on here, is absolutely horrible. They have a horrible cover of Fight for Your Right from the Beastie Boys, and it just feels so dated, and they don't even really they don't even sound like they want to be on the record. It's very low energy, very uninspiring. Then they have the song Canceled, where they're talking about being canceled and, you know, the current state of the world, and it just feels so already dated / I guess you want to say boomer energy, but it just gives off old guy screaming at the sky vibes. You know, it sounds poorly made, especially coming from people who've been in the game for so long. It just sounds bad, and, you know, it just feels so cringe while listening to it. Just everything about it is bad, minus the guitars. Even the guitars at times, they get a little bit overindulgent, and that's a bad thing, I think, at times. But even like the one saving grace is the guitars, but overall everything on here is just bad. So worst EP of the year for sure. And yeah, those are my 10 worst EPs from this year in 2024. Thanks for coming on by. Playlist down below, check them out, tell me what you think about these bands in this list. And like always, I will see you in the pig.